Hi, welcome back to PEEKABOOS, beloved.
Peekaboo.
We went and saw The Monkey, which is a horror movie, also a comedy, based on a Stephen King short story, and you know how those usually go. I've always liked Stephen King's writing. When I really got into Audible, I crushed like 10 Stephen King books in a single year. And I mean, those are big, big things. Like I never would have been able to read through the 800 pages of it, just flipping through each page, you know? I had to have it read to me to be kind of like captive in that experience, or else I was just going to not be able to do it.
Just tune out too many pages.
But in doing so, I've really gained an appreciation for his work. And the man just like, he's writing every day of his life. So even things that like he'll spend a day or two on end up getting adapted because they've had so much success. You know, It, The Shining, Green Mile, Dark Tower, that flopped, you know.
So let's get into it.
Yeah. The Monkey's got a very basic plot. Two kids stumble upon this evil toy. Don't call it a toy. That's what they kept saying the whole movie long. It's essentially one of those monkeys that would like clap the cymbals, but this one bangs a little drum. Looks really creepy, and every time it goes off, somebody dies.
Honestly, it looks like it has human eyes.
Yeah, it is made more disturbing than like the regular cymbal monkeys usually are, but that's the whole conceit of the movie, is that there's this evil little entity, this totemic monster toy that is just killing people.
Not a toy. But it's worse than that because it's passed down through their lineage. So they don't know their father, and that's kind of left ambiguous at the beginning. But you don't know whether this monkey got him or if he just truly left because of the horrors, but then it's bestowed on his children.
Yeah, the first scene of the movie is the father trying to hand this thing off to some random stranger at a pawn shop. The dad's played by Adam Scott, who's in that show Severance right now. I really like it. So it was fun to kind of see him as like a little cameo. He brings the monkey into the shop owner. Monkey kills him. Adam Scott tries to like kill the monkey with a flamethrower he found in the shop, and I'm assuming it didn't work.
Because then the boys end up with it.
Flash forward, the main characters are two boys, twins. I guess they're around middle school age, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're like 11 or 12 when they first find the monkey.
Digging through their dad's things, they end up finding the monkey toy, and it's implied that like it could be wherever it wants to be.
Yeah.
It's a magical item. It can pop up whenever it needs to.
Yeah.
The two brothers, there's a douchey little dude
Bill.
named Bill. I think this movie takes place late 80s, early 90s, because he's wearing a lot of Jinko. He's got a lot of those Guy Fieri fire shirts.
It has to, because in 2016 is when it returns, and they're much older. 25
There's a 25-year
year
time skip.
Yeah.
Something that terrifies me more than most horror movies nowadays is the idea that 90s may have a nostalgia period in the same way that like the 70s and the 80s.
Oh, I think we're in it right now.
It's so gross. Like, you kids don't know what happened in the 90s. They made colored ketchup. They made green and purple ketchup.
Yeah, but how
and
fun was that?
And then they just put it on shelves at the store.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted that ketchup after the first week. And yet it existed. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You know it stayed in there for years.
I loved some of the things that were crazy about the 90s. Easy bake ovens. You can't sell those like you did before.
It was a very strange time. Lawless in ways.
For sure. Polly Pockets having lead in them. I mean, there were toys that were killing children.
And from what I'm seeing in movies that do romanticize that time period, it's through a polished lens.
For sure.
It wasn't actually like that. It was a lot grosser and dumber.
I think that's depending on the person. Anyway, back to the movie.
The mom's a widow now. She's very pessimistic and bitter about the fact that her husband seemingly disappeared and, you know, went out for cigarettes, never came back. That old chestnut.
So
the other brother's name is Hal. They're both twins, but technically Bill came out first, so he's like the older brother, quote unquote.
3 minutes ahead of him.
Yeah. So Hal is more of a tame personality. You know, Glass is kind of antisocial just because his brother's more abrasive and in people's faces.
The stereotype of a nerd, if you will.
They stumble upon the monkey. It's creepy. They turn it on. It ends up killing somebody, and they figure out the gimmick pretty quickly. They seemingly dispose of the monkey. Then the movie flashes forward 25 years when they're adults. It comes back and messes with their lives. That's about as much as a plot summary as I can give. Without
spoilers. I was going to say there's more in the childhood that we could give you, but let's just give our basic ratings of how we think the movie did.
So it's very campy intentionally. There are other movies that do this formula very well, but there's something not quite right with it here where you can tell it's not going to stick with you as it's happening.
Even if you look at like a Deadpool movie, right, where they're having like these gory satire scenes, that is kind of the vibe that this went for. but missed the mark.
Yeah, all the kills are extremely gratuitous. Like, think Final Destination almost, where it's like kills of happenstance. You know, someone opens a closet, there was a gun on a rack, and it falls off and blows them to pieces. And the parts in the film are well done. I don't have any critiques of like how it's shot, the sound, acting. It's all passable.
Yeah.
But I think like the screenplay was just not very ambitious. And it's trying to like wink at you too much through the assumed camp of the movie.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I loved all of the actors in this movie. I loved the basic plot. I think that the dialogue was lacking and some of the scenes were overacted, which was, again, they're not at like trying to do this beyond the fourth wall kind of thing. But I don't know, it just felt weird.
This is the definition of a movie you put on in the background of a party, just so when somebody does happen to look at the TV, something wild's happening.
Yeah, something crazy. Because I loved where the story was building to, but it just never really caught the train out of the station.
There were no real big twists or swerves, and the only really creative parts were the kills.
Yeah, the kills, I mean, those scenes, even though they were super gory, were super well done.
But I didn't get attached to any of the characters. I really didn't care about where the story was going. I just wanted to be entertained, and at times even that wasn't happening. It's kind of a fun concept, but they probably redid that original short story in a lot of ways because all the characters had like a very modern irreverence in everything they did. Like for the longest time, I couldn't place what time the movie was actually taking place in. And then the main character is working at like a dinky little local grocery store. And he goes in to talk to his manager. And the manager, you know, he has no actual skills. He's just someone they slapped a suit on and was like, here, watch the store. And I had no idea what timeline it was until he pulled out a vape. And then at some point it says this in 2016. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's clear that like time has not touched this little town.
Yeah.
Everything looks like it could still easily be in like the 70s.
For sure.
But yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. It could have been more fun. It could have been more shocking or memorable, but I'd say mid. I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. And if you put it on, like you said, at a party or something, I'd look up and I'd watch it again. But for me, it just missed the mark of what I thought it was going to be. The trailer does a really fun job of showing you cool things, but then the actual movie was just kind of confusing in certain parts.
Yeah, the trailer looks intense as all hell, but from the things that happen in the trailer, you're like, how can there possibly be a story based around this?
Yeah, and that's the confusing part when you get in there.
That's what was withheld from you. The story's kind of just boring. The director was Osgood Perkins, the dude who did Long Legs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, it's shot similarly, like, it looks good. It's just not that ambitious, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like it could have done more. It was shot beautifully. Great music, great special effects. All of the gore was great. I loved the cast, too. I mean, the cast was well picked.
I think everyone probably just had fun doing it.
Yeah.
It was like a $10 million movie. You're not missing anything if you don't see it. If you have an interest in it, wait till it comes out or it's on the streaming service. And I guess now we can get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoiler time.
So back to when they were little, the reason that the brothers kind of grow up estranged from each other is that very first time they look through the closet, Bill is rude to Hal about wanting to have the monkey as a keepsake. And at school, he gets other people to make fun of him much so.
Hal gets bullied at school, and it's like a gang of middle school girls that are just tormenting him.
It's strange. It's so strange.
Yeah. And you can tell that was like a decision made just to make it unique in some way.
I think that it played a lot of like non-conforming gender roles in this movie.
It was funny, but at the same time, it's like the character must be so passive to allow this to happen.
Yeah. They throw bananas at him because of this monkey. He comes home and he's very distraught. He just runs straight for the basement. He goes to the monkey and he's like, "Monkey, I want Bill dead."
He turns the little key, which activates the monkey, and the monkey taps this little drum. Someone's going to die.
Unfortunately, it's not Bill.
Yeah, it kills their mom. So the thing about the monkey, apparently the person who turns the key, activates the kill, is never actually the person that the monkey will kill. And you just can't make requests of this thing. It's completely random. Well, it's not completely random, but it does what it wants when it wants.
Right. It's somebody within proximity of you, somebody that you know. Later, that becomes a key factor because of the small town that they grew up in.
It almost works on irony.
Yeah.
Like, who would you not want to die?
Yeah.
What would be worst for you?
So Bill doesn't know that Hal tried to do that. Hal never tells him.
Well, the mom isn't even the first death. The very first kill by the monkey is like their babysitter.
And that's a super fun scene.
Yeah, they're at like a hibachi grill.
And her head just like gets sliced.
The dude's doing his knife and spatula routine. And he's even like flirting with the babysitter. He's like winking. He made like a heart out of the rice on the
Yeah, he's making it beat with his little spatula.
Yeah. And then he just one errant slice and takes her head off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it falls on the grill.
Burning.
And as we're saying it out loud, like it sounds like it would be funnier than it is.
Yeah. That scene was fun. I don't think there were too many others where I was like, oh, that's cute. That was good.
Yeah. But second death is the mom when Hal decides that because of the bullying at school that Bill started, he's like, just kill Bill, please. He turns the monkey's key. Ironically, the mom dies in front of Bill.
She has like an aneurysm. They label it like a freak accident.
After the mom dies, the next of kin is like an aunt and uncle that are just like the weirdest fucking people. They're swingers, alcoholics. They sit down with Hal. The uncle's trying to give things are going to be all right. We're going to do our best to raise you. But he's not selling it very well. He's like, we're going to do our best, your aunt and I. But we're swingers.
And we never wanted kids.
We never wanted kids. And to be fair, our best is probably not going to be good at all. But now Bill and Hal kind of understand what's going on with the monkey. And they're like, well, we got to test whether or not turning the key will kill the user. And then after doing that, it immediately kills the uncle. He goes on like, I guess, a camping trip and then gets trampled by wild horses in his sleeping bag. Which again sounds funny. Like they open the sleeping bag and it just looks like bolognese.
It's so gross. But then they decide that the monkey's powers are too great. They don't want anyone to have it. So they try to Jumanji it.
Bill and Hal come to the conclusion that they need to dispose of the monkey. They put it in its original box, wrap a chain around it, and then drop it down a well. All done. Good job.
But that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back 25 years later. At this point, Hal's a deadbeat. He had a child with a girl that, realistically, I can't imagine him ever getting. She seemed like a high-powered businesswoman.
He works at a grocery store.
They have a son together. Hal goes to the new stepfather and ex-baby mama's house, and they inform him that they're going to take full custody of Petey, Hal's son, after a week.
They decide that because he has been so non-existent in Petey's life, that they think it's best that this new guy, I totally forget his name, he's a phenomenal actor.
Elijah Wood plays like the douchebag stepfather. He's a self-help writer aimed specifically at fathers.
But he himself is not a father. They do not have kids together. They only have this Petey.
Yeah, he's in like a skin-tight exercise zip-up.
Yeah, the opening scene on them.
You can see his nipples through them.
He's sitting between the baby mama and Hal, and he's holding their hands, and he goes, ooh, I feel the parent power. It's so
It's cringe, but perfect.
Yeah, it's funny. That part is very funny in the movie. So they decide, because Hal has been absent in Petey's life, that it would just be better if Guru, stepdad, was officially Petey's dad.
And then they can just cut Hal out of all of their lives.
And so they're about to embark on this adventure together where they're supposed to go to do fun things for like their dad-son week. And it's been soiled in Hal's mind with, I'm no longer going to get to see my son after this.
And then, of course, the monkey comes back that exact week.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to Hal and Petey, Bill is the one that stumbles across the monkey.
Dun, dun, dun. Apparently, Bill has been searching for it this whole time because as soon as he dropped the monkey in the well, he knew that Hal was the one who killed their mom, and he needed to get the monkey back so he could kill Hal.
Yeah, all of these things he knew at that scene, apparently. It really reminded me of it in that regard, where there's like that little asshole bully kid in the first part, and then in the second part, he's just completely off the rails and insane because the monkey itself can't extract revenge.
Yeah. Bill went back, descended into the well, and the monkey was gone. He's been looking for it for the last 25 years. This kid stumbles across it at a yard sale and ends up with it back in his clutches.
And there are parallels to Bill and Hal, too, because the kid that finds it is clearly like the Bill analog, like an older brother who's kind of a punk, and then he has a brother that's kind of nerdy but joined the army, I guess.
Yeah.
Has glasses like Hal. They both have a father that deserted. Another situation, he went for cigarettes.
For most of the movie, I wondered if their father that stepped out was Bill.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting way to turn it, but this was a movie that was just trying to get in and get out.
So the Hal and Petey vacay gets derailed because the monkey makes a kill, but it is Aunt Ida, and it is a horrible freak accident. She wakes up, she hears a sound in the middle of the night. She goes to investigate. She gets to the basement. She makes it down the stairs. Nothing's down there. You're waiting for the bad thing to happen. And then finally, as she's going back up the stairs, she falls through the stairs and she lands in fishing gear. And she has 20 plus hooks in her face.
Yeah, it's some real Mr. Magoo stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she goes upstairs to put like isopropyl alcohol on the wounds. And then she goes into the kitchen and she has a teapot on her stove, which is really old. It's like pilot light old stove.
Yep.
She's like putting her head to the stove to hear, is the gas kicking on?
Yeah.
So of course it kicks on and catches her head on fire.
So then she tries to run outside and somebody has delivered some kind of bouquet to her and it's sitting on the front porch step. She steps in it, she loses her balance and then rams her head into a for sale sign post. Her head splits open on fire in the middle of her front yard.
Which, again, sounds like it would be a lot of fun, but
it was just crazy.
It's just something that happens, yeah.
Whew. So then that is what is the catalyst for them having to derail their vacation and now have to go and get this monkey because Bill out of nowhere calls Hal and is like, hey, you're the next of kin. You need to do this. And he's like, technically it's you because you're older, but that's fine. I'll just do what needs to be done. And so then he has to kind of tell Petey some things after telling him lies because Petey has been asking questions as any child trying to get to know their estranged parent would.
Petey's kind of a fun character. They usually play those high school kid characters as dumb or disinterested, but he's kind of like locked in and he definitively wants to know more about Hal, but it's like trying to get blood from a rock.
So then they have to go get this monkey. Turns out Bill's had it the whole time. He's been enacting all of these unfortunate happenings.
Yeah, it turns out right after that well scene, Bill became intensely obsessed with the monkey and like almost worships it in a weird way.
Because he wants it to kill Hal. He knows that Hal killed their mother and he wants Hal dead.
Some real Cain and Abel stuff.
Yeah. So basically this whole thing was to get Hal back to town.
So Bill could snuff him out with the monkey.
Yeah.
Which a comedy of errors happens.
Yeah.
Bill's turning the key each day, and it's not killing Hal, but it'll kill someone around him.
Yeah, freak accidents in the town, all over the place.
Because the monkey works on irony.
Yeah.
Until, of course, you get a confrontation at the end of the movie where Hal goes to Bill's weird squatter nest, I guess.
A booby-trapped building he's made for himself. He's so paranoid that he's
home alone. He's got like a mousetrap type setup if anyone tries to break in.
Yeah.
One of the funny things is that Petey is made to like break in and try to talk to Bill, like talk him down from using this monkey. And Bill's set up all of these different Home Alone traps, and they're just kind of shittily done.
Yeah.
Petey's walking very slowly, and he trips one of these things, and an axe comes out of the side and then like hits a door behind him. He wouldn't have been out of the way if that were actually lined up properly.
Yeah, which just goes to show that Bill is like just crazy. So then that scene's kind of weird when he first gets in there, and he's like, Bill? And he goes, Petey? Like they just like look at each other like it's
Uncle
weird.
And nephew meeting each other for the first time.
Yeah, it's strange.
This movie's kind of just such a nothing burger.
Yeah, by the end, it's just like fizzling. It's like the Mento has already exploded out of the Pepsi bottle, and you're just left with the aftermath of goo.
Yeah, you're not exactly excited to see where it goes next because what you would predict would happen happens. Hal makes his way in, confronts his brother, but in the process, Bill gets extremely frustrated and tries to force the monkey to clang its little drum to kill his brother.
Yeah.
And what he does, unfortunately, is wind it up a shitload, so then it bangs really, really hard.
And it sends like 6 people falling through the ceiling in front of Bill on the floor.
Yeah, it does a full drumline performance, and what you find out is it killed half the town.
Yeah.
And again, that should be funny. Like, I feel like if the Wayans brothers got a hold of it, made it like a scary movie premise, that would have been really funny.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I can see trying to play it more serious, but then keeping humorous and campy moments in it. It just, something was missing from the formula.
Yeah,
a variable in the formula was not tweaked correctly.
It wasn't quite right. And even at the end, when they do have their big confrontation scene and they have to confront each other about their mother's death, and Bill's like, you killed our mom, and Hal's like, I didn't mean to. We can't be held responsible. And then they make up, and that's it. Well, except Bill gets his head shot off. The thing is with the monkey, after you wind it up and it does its little drumming, if its hand's still in the air, that means it's not completely done with whatever.
It's essentially
killing.
a cocked gun at that point.
Yes.
And you have no idea when it's going to go off.
So the whole conversation they're having, his arm is still in the air, and at the end of their resolution, the arm goes down, and Bill's head gets shot off by a bowling ball that says Lois, which is irony because that is their mother's name and the reason that they have fought this whole time.
And even more ironically, it was by his own stupid trap.
So there were a lot of moments in this movie that sound like they are really good things. It's an okay movie.
That is the most aggravating thing about the movie, is that it's not more memorable. To sum it all up, there was a Final Destination trailer, and that was more entertaining than the movie. Because the trailer for the Final Destination movie was literally just a scene, and it's like, okay, we're back.
The trailer for this is like spark notes of all of the cool, funny things in this, but then there's exposition in between that kind of loses that fun.
It feels like busy work at points.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we thought of The Monkey. We thought it would be more fun. It was kind of regular, and the only reason I'm kind of mad at it is because they could have done more of the concept, because it seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's such a fun concept. Just wait until it gets on streaming services.
If you even care. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.